Mark Zuckerberg didn't mention Donald Trump by name at a tech conference, but there was no doubt who the Facebook founder had in mind.
I hear fearful voices calling for building walls and distancing people they label as others, for blocking free expression, for slowing immigration, reducing trade. Instead of building walls, we can help people build bridges.
Joining us now from San Francisco is Sarah Lacy, founder and editor of the tech site Pando.com. Sarah, is this the new, more political Mark Zuckerberg trying to be more than just a tech tycoon?
You know, everyone's been saying this was unprecedented, and certainly I don't think it was expected at a developer conference. But Mark Zuckerberg has a history of making very diplomatic, very controlled political stances. He's been very pro-gay rights. They were one of the first companies to offer egg freezing and more reproductive rights for women as a perk of working there. And he's pledged $100 million of his own money to create Forward Us, a very, a more empathetic, inclusive immigration lobbying group. I think he's had a history of making these stances before that, if you look at it, probably aren't core tenets of a Trump campaign. So to me, it was very diplomatic. He didn't blast him. He didn't name him. It's consistent with the things he stood for before. I think it got so much attention because Facebook not only controls one huge outlet, it has Facebook proper, which 1 billion people are on and more people get their news from than anything else, and 3 of the 4 largest messaging apps in the world in WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger.
It's a massive
we've never
platform.
seen this level of power.
Donald Trump has 7 million followers on Facebook. But does Zuckerberg risk, whether you thought it was diplomatic or not, does he risk alienating some Facebook users who don't share his views on Donald Trump or immigration?
There's always that risk, but this is a man who's become very good at knowing what he's saying and the impact it'll have, and he has many smart political advisors. There's a whole trend right now of tech companies becoming more political, not in the divisive sense, but in terms of using the tools of politics and diplomacy, and Mark has really been one of the leaders in that. That said, they are so cautious on this kind of stuff. I mean, you look at what Facebook just went through with India, where it wanted to provide free internet access, and it was mostly rebuked by the Indian people because there was a fear that they would be seeing a controlled view of the internet that was in Facebook's favor. The company is very, very sensitive about this, and I think it's important to say he has shown what he believes, but there is no evidence that Facebook has tipped the scales. And the reason they won't isn't because it's not within their rights. It's because Facebook does what is best for Facebook, and as a business, it is not best for them to try to control the outcome of the election.
Right, to tweak the algorithms to decide what people, influence what people see. I've got about half a minute, but one of the reasons this made a lot of online headlines is there was an internal Facebook poll in which some employees asked, we don't know how many employees were involved, what responsibility does Facebook have to prevent President Trump in 2017? So obviously some people in the ranks don't like the Donald.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And look, a lot of people have said Facebook is essentially a media outlet like the New York Times. And we've seen the New York Times has really been much stronger in warning against a Trump presidency. Facebook could do that. There's no evidence it will, even if its employees want it. Again, Mark has 3 constituencies: shareholders, employees, and his audience. And unfortunately, employees are the smallest of those 3 groups.
Right. Sarah Lacy, thanks very much for your insight from San Francisco. We appreciate it.